There are so many pictures of this man in this book. I counted. There are 5. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure, Bill, you're a great chef, and he's not bad to look at, but I don't want to look at you while I'm in a cookbook. But maybe that's just me. Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since my last video, and that is a combination of several things, as always. But the main thing is that I had purchased a new desk to sort of have a better workspace and to have better filming space and just have a better space in general. A desk with more storage and blah, blah, blah. Not interesting. And it arrived 4 weeks ago now. And then me and my partner tore down the existing setup that was in this space right now. You're in the desk right now. So we tore down everything, put everything in random spots to make space to build the desk and everything, and then opened the packages just to realize that only half the desk had been sent. And the other half didn't arrive until 3 weeks later. So my life/apartment was a total mess for the past month because there was just stuff everywhere. You couldn't even walk. It was fun. But now I have a desk and it's semi-functional. So here I am. Another reason why my videos are a bit delayed is because last weekend it was my birthday. So I celebrated a little bit with my partners. I'm not a big birthday person. I don't like birthday parties. I don't like anyone at work to even know it's my birthday. But since I did get a nice little stack of books for my birthday, I thought I'd share them with you. This is going to be probably the last, well, maybe I'll get some books for Christmas. I don't know. I have decided to participate in the Read What You Own challenge, and I haven't decided exactly what the parameters will be. I know originally it was read 100 books before you buy a single new book, and that's not super realistic, but I want to do something big. But basically this and Christmas is going to be the last new books or any books I acquire from my personal library, because I counted and there's over 250 books that I haven't read yet in my library. So I'm definitely going to be focusing on those for a while. But in the meantime, I have gifts to share. So the first one is very adorable, The Penguin Book of Christmas Stories. And this is super cute, actually. The little tagline is from Hans Christian Andersen to Angela Carter. And it does seem to be quite a melange, we'll say, of authors. So there's like Chekhov, Dostoevsky, O. Henry, Dorothy Sayers, Langston Hughes, Ray Bradbury, Shirley Jackson, Muriel Spark, Truman Capote, Italo Calvino, I think it's Tove Jansson, and of course Angela Carter and Hans Christian Andersen. And there's a ton more in here that I don't even recognize. So there's about 32 stories in here, and the whole collection is less than 300 pages. So that means all of the stories are going to be short, which is what I like. So excited about that one. So the next one is My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, new fiction by Afghan women, a short story collection. Oops. And this I had actually selected as my book for Afghanistan for Invisible Cities, but I didn't actually pick Afghanistan as a country for Invisible Cities because I was only doing one country per month this year. So I had picked it but not purchased it for the month for Invisible Cities, and so I just had it on my wish list, and my partner decided to get it for me. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And this one is from my husband, The Book of Tbilisi, a city in short fiction. So I don't know, I just thought this would be a nice little refreshing glimpse, because you know how I love short stories, and they seem to have really interesting formats too. So there's lists in here, and I don't know, it's just very interesting. So I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, so it doesn't list the other series, the other books in the series, but this is a series of different cities. Mostly I think that are a little bit harder to get fiction from, so that's an interesting series to look out for. It's called, or published by Comma Press. And I'm not sure what the series is actually called. It just says a city in short fiction, so there's that. And then this was from my partner's mother, The Wretched of the Earth, Franz Fanon. Very classic anti-colonial literature. I've definitely read from this book. You know how in college they like photocopy the book and give you like a chapter or two to read for school? And then you have to like discuss it in class. So I've definitely read from this book, but I haven't read it through, all the way through. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this one. Yeah, I mean, like, I think this is considered the absolute foundational text. So that's excellent for me to have and read. So the other thing I wanted to mention about this book is that this translation in particular, Richard Philcox, is supposed to be the better translation, the superior translation. I know my partner specifically asked, he was like, is the cover important to you? Or would you like a different version? And I was like, well, it's not the cover, but it's the translation. So make sure the translator is the same. And he was like, okay. And I think his mom was asking. So next up is The Blunder by Mutlon, and it's translated from the French by Amy B. Reed. And this is a Cameroonian novel, and it was kind of like on a whim that I picked it up, or rather I put it on my list, and then my mother-in-law purchased it for me. But it's set in Cameroon in 1929, and it's I'll just read it because it's very, I think it's very interesting. Obviously. As colonial powers fight for influence in Africa, French military surgeon Eugène Jameau is dispatched to Cameroon to lead the fight against sleeping sickness there. But despite his humanitarian intentions, the worst comes to pass. 700 local villagers are left blind as a result of medical malpractice by a doctor under Jameau's watch. Damienne Bourdon, a young white woman, ventures to Cameroon to assist in the treatment effort. Reeling from the loss of her child, she's desperate to redeem herself and save her reputation. But the tides of rebellion are churning in Cameroon, and soon after Damienne's arrival, she is enlisted in a wild plot to staunch the damage caused by the blunder and forestall tribal warfare. Together with Ndongo, a pygmy guide, she must cross the country on foot in search of Edoa, a Cameroonian princess and nurse who has gone missing since the medical blunder was discovered. As Damienne races through the Cameroonian forest on a farcical adventure that unsettles her sense of France's civilizing mission, she begins to question her initial sense of who needed saving and who would save the day. So, I mean, no surprise there. Colonizers go in, they think they're helping, and they're not. But this is actually based on true events. I forget the details, and I apologize for that, but they did cause, I believe it was the medication they used for sleeping sickness, caused blindness in hundreds of people. And I don't think anyone bothered to help or fix that. So, so yeah, this one I'm really excited for, and it's actually really short. It's less than 150 pages, so that'll be really great. And the next three are all cookbooks. So the first one is The Little Book of Vegan Cakes by Holly Jade, and I guess she has a blog. And this was from my partner's brother, and I am not vegan, but I do like to be able to cook vegan when necessary, and with with cooking savory things, that's pretty easy, but with baked goods, especially the egg, I'm not super confident in my baking skills, and I definitely don't trust like random off the website recipes, so I really like to have baking cookbooks that are like for vegan recipes specifically. And then the great thing is that it's actually super easy to take a baked vegan recipe, or to take a vegan recipe and make it not vegan. So like, I mean, obviously they just say use non-dairy milk, non-dairy butter. You could just use the dairy versions of those. Like, no, it's the same. And then the only thing that's a little tricky is the egg. Usually they use like aquafaba instead of the egg, but that's sometimes a little harder to calculate because it's like one egg isn't always the same, but either way, like it's pretty easy to use. And this is actually British, I believe. I mean, based on the recipes, there's lots of British things in here, and I'm not super interested in cooking the British recipes, but they have tons of like really classic stuff, and a couple like really interesting things that like I never would have thought to put together. And also just like the difficulty level seems to be varied, which is nice because like they have a lot of no-bake, I mean, vegan things, it's easy to do a lot of no-bake stuff. So here, there's like, you know, no-bake, and it looks like every recipe does have a picture, which I always appreciate. But they also have like, you know, like everyday things like apple and blackberry crumble. Like here's just 2 pictures. So those are pavlovas and like, I think strawberry trifles on the left. Yeah. There was one in here that was like super intimidating to me, and I think I'm going to try to make those for Valentine's Day. We'll see. So yeah, before COVID, obviously, I used to throw a Palentine's Day party every year, which is like Valentine's Day for your friends. And I really think I might want to try these. They're strawberry filled heart-shaped donuts. Like, wow, that's like a lot of work, but it might be worth it. I don't know. That's the most intimidating recipe in this one. So vegan bakes, awesome. And then this is the brand new Smitten Kitchen cookbook. It came out in November. I bought her first two. She's another food blogger, and I bought her first two like earlier in October, but I've been using her recipes for literally over 10 years now. Anything I've ever made from her is amazing, and I really like her style because she is not a chef. She's a home cook who just like food blogged for fun, and now this is her career. For me, as like a child-free person who like enjoys spending time cooking but also appreciates a shortcut every once in a while, I find she does a really good balance of like this extra like obnoxious step is totally worth your time, but also if you skip it, it's not that big a deal either kind of vibe. So it depends on what kind of mood you're in. If you're in a rushed mood, or if you're in like, let's make this as fancy as possible mood, she's got you covered. So I really like this one. This is supposed to be new classics for your forever files. I personally find that like the tagline of all three of her cookbooks are like not accurate. like I don't know, like, but they're all good recipes in it. So we'll see. I'll probably do a separate video kind of like comparing and contrasting all three. Basically like such good options in here. And I really like her cookbooks because she has like I'll show you the table of contents. So this little section is the meat section. All of this is all the vegetables. So you know, as someone who lives with a vegetarian and as someone who doesn't eat meat that often, I find a lot of the meat recipes in these cookbooks that I have often go unused. So it's nice to have a few meat recipes when I want them, but like realistically, I'm cooking the vegetable recipes all the time. So, and then of course she has like cakes and snacks and tarts and bars and cookies, as well as soups, stews, salads, and breakfasts. Her breakfasts are really good, I'll say. So, okay, that's Smitten Kitchen keepers. One other thing about this one that is, I'm like in shock actually about how this can still happen. So I just was like putting together my wish list on Amazon to make it easier for people. And I saw that there was a hardcover and a soft cover. And I said to myself, like, all of my other cookbooks are hardcover. Do I really need a hardcover? And I was like, no, I don't really need it. I don't know why they make cookbooks in hardcover. Like, I mean, yeah, you beat them up a bit, but like, it doesn't really matter, right? So I just put the soft cover book in my list and left it at that. And then I actually found out that this was the first gift I like was spoiled. Like I found out that this was going to be given to me because it arrived and my partner was really confused and he asked my advice. Because I was scammed. The soft cover was actually just this cover printed on like a 50-page blank notebook, and someone was charging like over, I think like €26 for it. I don't know. It was like a little bit cheaper than the regular real cookbook, but it wasn't like cheap. So, and so we were like, what is this? Is this like an actual like attempt to scam people? Like surely they can't possibly think they'll get away with it. And of course we went on the website and the listing had already been taken down and he returned it no problem. But I was like, wow, are people really... I mean, no ends to what people will do for a scam, but yeah. So, all right. And last but not least, we have Australian Food by Bill Granger. So this has been on my radar for like years now, but it's Australian. So like buying it in Europe is like ridiculously expensive and I could never justify buying it for myself, but I put it on my wish list and thinking like, okay, someone might decide like this is worth it. And of course, my husband, who I lived in Australia with, he thought it was worth as a gift. So this is by Bill Granger. I had no idea before I found this cookbook, but Bill Granger literally invented avocado on toast in 1993. Yeah, he's like the original kind of like Australian vibe creator. If you've been in Australian cafes, you know what I mean. But so yeah, it has like some really pretty pictures. Yeah, I think every recipe has a picture, as does Smitten Kitchen. I hate cookbooks that don't have pictures, like, hello, what's the point otherwise? But I will say one thing that I do find super strange. So yeah, I don't know if it's because he's a man or if he's a famous man or if it's his editor, but there are so many pictures of this man in this book. I counted, there are 5. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure, Bill, you're a great chef, and he's not bad to look at, but I don't want to look at you while I'm in a cookbook. But maybe that's just me. There are pictures of other people too. I don't know who these people are, but it's not just him, I suppose. That's like a good thing. So it's organized in pretty standard sections: classics, grains, seeds and juices, breakfast, bakery, bowls, salad, small plates, barbecue, big plates, and sweets. So yeah, that's, I mean, up until basically the barbecue section, that's kind of like all Australian cafe food, you know, like salad bowls or like grain bowls or breakfast, you know, type foods. So that's all like the exact kind of food I want to be cooking because I miss it so much. I actually, ironically, was leaving. I was walking. Where was I walking? I was leaving from a medical appointment straight to the university campus where I teach classes. And I was like, I'd never gone that way before. And I just kind of like saw a sign that said sausage rolls. And I was like, what sausage rolls? Like, so I looked inside and I was like, is this like an Australian cafe? And I don't think it was. I think it was actually a New Zealand cafe. I don't know, but I didn't even ask. But I saw the sausage roll and I was like, this looks suspiciously correct. Like, cause you know, it's always like not right, you know, when you get it in other countries. And I just like bought one and had one for lunch and it was very good. So that's just kind of like renewed my like desire to keep, you know, cooking Australian food. I have a couple favorites, but like it's really hard to just replicate on your own. So anyway, now that I have the Australian food cookbook, I can continue my culinary adventures Australian cafe style. So that's the last book on my list, not my list, for my birthday. I had a very nice day and I have a nice little stack of books now and I'm really happy about that. So as always, if you've read any of these books, if you loved them, if you hated them, if you thought they were just okay, let me know. You have any good cookbook recommendations? And if you've ever been scammed like that by buying like a blank book and not knowing it was a blank book. I guess it's something that could only happen on Amazon or like one of those like third-party retailer sites. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.